Hi guys and gals, Al Smith here. Today we're going to talk about overcalls after both opponents have bid. All right, so we've got the situation where both opponents have bid and partners have passed. So making an overcall in this situation is different than overcall in the direct seat. Okay, the first thing to really note is that the opponents have at least half the points. The opener has promised 13 plus and the responder has promised 6 plus. So given that they have half and maybe a lot more, this is pretty dangerous territory. Actually, this is the most dangerous point to enter an auction after you've already learned that the opponents have about half a point. However, you shouldn't just simply pass. There's still lots of opportunities to compete. And the goal is to find a suit where you have a makeable contract or where you can sacrifice. Okay, and part of the process here is to obstruct the opponents as much as possible to make their bidding difficult and hopefully keep them from finding the right contract or the right level. Okay. And as always, the goal is to get as good a score as possible. If you can sneak in and end up in 3 clubs, let's say, go down 1 vulnerable for a -100 versus the opponents ending up in 3 hearts and ending up with a -140, the -100 is going to be a really good score. You know, if you're playing duplicate, it may be a top board. And the bids in this situation vary depending on the opponent's bidding sequence, what they bid. There's 2 different classes. The first class is where the opponents have actually bid 2 suits. In this example, 1 club, then the responder bids 1 heart. So you see, simply see they bid 2 suits. Okay, that's the key. In the second class, the opponents have only bid 1 suit. And this can occur in 1 of 2 situations where they bid and raise a suit, for example, 1 club, then 2 clubs, only bid 1 suit, okay, but they bid and raised it. Or if they bid a suit and then responded bids 1 no trump, but again, there's only 1 suit. Now, the difference of this is, the difference here is that in the first class, you have 2 suits you can key off of. And in the second, there's only 1. So it changes what conventions can be used and what bids are available. Now, before we actually get into exploring in detail the bids that can be made in each one of these classes, I need to quickly review or to tell you about 2 different conventions that are used. This first one is used with the first class of hands, and the second, I'll discuss in a minute, is used with the second. Okay, the first is called the Cappelletti Cue Bids. Okay, and it's used after 2 opponents have bid 2 suits. So you've got clubs in this case and diamonds. What are the requirements? Well, the requirements are you've got 5 in the lower ranking suit and 4 in the higher ranking suit, or 4 in the lower ranking suit and 5 in the higher ranking suit in the 2 unbid suits. Okay, so in this case, an example would be hearts and spades. Okay, now the other thing is figuring out if you're strong enough to actually use the Cappelletti Cue bid, or actually any bid after both opponents have bid. Okay, and what we use is the 2, 3, 4 losing trick count system. And if the 2, 3, 4 result is greater than or equal to the level that you are forcing the advancer to bid to support either suit, actually both suits, but either suit, then it's safe to bid. Okay, now let's take a look at an example of this here. Okay, we've got the situation where the opponent opened 1 club, your partner passed, and the responder bid 1 diamond. If you bid 2 clubs, this is a Cappelletti Cue bid, and I'll tell you more about it in a second. Okay, what does the advancer have to bid? Well, in order to, if the opener doesn't bid again, the advancer is going to have to bid 2 hearts or 2 spades. So both of those bids are at the 2 level. So the 2, 3, 4 result needs to be greater than or equal to 2 in order for the overcaller to be strong enough to make that bid. So what this does is incorporate vulnerability into the determination so that you're making a relatively safe bid. Let's take a look at another example here. Let's assume that the opener bid 1 hearts, the responder bid 2 spades. Now it's really dangerous, especially if they play 2 over 1. You know they've got 25 plus points. The only time you're going to enter the auction here is when you've got a distributional hand and probably favorable vulnerability. Okay, but in this case, because you bid 2 spades, in order for the advancer the advancer is going to have to bid 3 clubs or 3 diamonds if the opener doesn't bid. So those bids are at the 3 level. Again, 2, 3, 4 needs to be greater than equal to 3. Okay, there are 2 Cappelletti Cue Bids. All right, 2. Count them. 1, 2. All right. There's one called the lower ranking Cappelletti Cue Bid. All right, when you do this, you cue bid the lower ranking suit, and what it tells the advancer is that you have 5 plus 5 cards in the lower ranking unbid suit and 4 cards in the higher ranking unbid suit. So it's finding a very specific hand shape of 5 cards in the lower, 5 in the lower ranking, 4 in the higher ranking, right? And then there's the higher ranking cue bid, which says just the opposite. You cue bid the higher ranking suit to the opponent has bid, and this shows 5 cards in the higher ranking suit and 4 cards in the lower. So it's very, very descriptive in terms of the shape of the hand and also the strength of the hand in terms of losing trick count. We'll see how this works in with the other bids in a minute. The second convention I want to talk about is called the responsive double. Okay, and it's used after opponents have bid only 1 suit, but both opponents have bid. In this case, we've got the first example here is the opponents have bid and raised a suit, 1 club, 2 clubs, all right? Or the responder has bid 1 no trump, 1 club, 1 no trump. Now this actually could be any of the 4 suits. It all applies to all 4 suits in this particular form. Okay, what are the requirements? Well, if the opponents have bid a minor suit, what the responsive double implies is that the bidder of the responsive double has 4 plus hearts and 4 plus spades. So you have, if you're bidding, if the opponents have bid a minor, it implies that you have the majors. If the opponents have bid a major, it implies you have the minors. You go, so what about the 3rd suit? Well, in case of the 3rd suit, if you have that 3rd suit, you don't have anything available to you but the standard overcall, in which case you would be saying that you've got 5 plus cards in that suit are strong enough to make that bid. Okay, so again, this and it's sort of like a negative double, but it isn't. We call it a responsive double, okay, because it's based upon what the opponents have bid, and it only is available in this particular sequence when both opponents have bid. Okay, now again, we're going to use the 2, 3, 4 result to determine if we're strong enough to actually use the responsive double. Let's look at a couple of examples here, just to revisit that again. Okay, in this case, the opponent opened 1 club, and the responder bid 1 no trump. All right, we double the advancer, implying that we have 4 plus hearts and 4 plus spades. The advancer can bid 2 hearts or 2 spades. So those bids are at the 2 level. So in order for us to be able to use the responsive double, our 2, 3, 4 result needs to be greater than or equal to 2. Okay, that establishes the level that we're safe to bid at. If we're safe to force our partner to bid at. So 2 hearts, 2 spades, got to be greater than or equal to 2. If it comes out to 3, that's great. Okay, we can use the responsive double. Okay, in this case, we've got 1 spade pass, 2 spades. All right, now if we use the advancer here, the responsive double here, the advancer will need to be able to bid. We'll have to bid 3 clubs or 3 diamonds. All right, so because we're forcing our partner to bid to the 3 level, we must be strong enough in order to do that. So the 2, 3, 4 result needs to be greater than or equal to 3. All right, now let's get into this. Okay, what we're going to talk about first is the overcall after the opponents have bid 2 suits. Okay, and what we're going to talk about first, where you have just a 1 suited hand. Okay, and this is normal, just normal stuff. Okay, well, 1 level overcall, we're going to need to have a 5+ suit and a 2, 3, 4 result of greater than or equal to 1. Why? Because if they bid 1 club dash and the responder bids a diamond, you can bid 1 heart. Okay, that's the 1 level. It satisfies the 2, 3, 4 requirement. You've got 5, 6, 7 of them. Hey, great. Now, if you're going to make a 2 level overcall, again, you have to raise that 2, 3, 4 result by 1 to 2. Okay, and if you're going to make a preemptive jump overcall at this particular point in time, okay, you probably should have a 6+ card suit. I'm going to change that from 5 to 6. And the 2, 3, 4 result needs to be greater than or equal to the preemptive level. Okay, so if you're going to preempt, let's say 3 spades at this particular point in time, bidding was 1 club, responder bid 2 club, 1 diamond. If you want to bid 3 hearts, that's great. Okay, however, your 2, 3, 4 result should be greater than or equal to 3. All right, that takes care of the 1 suit bid. Now here's where all the interesting stuff comes in with 2 suited hands. Okay, you want to be able to describe both suits. Okay, and being able to describe both suits is dependent on the strength of your hand. Okay, so with a strong hand, it's pretty straightforward. What you're going to do is you're going to bid the higher ranking suit first at the lowest level, and then you want to make sure your 2, 3, 4 result is high enough so it gives you the capability of bidding your 2nd suit at the appropriate level. So if you took the example of 1 club and then the responder bid 1 diamond, you could bid, if you were, let's say 5 in in 6, 6 in the majors, and your 2, 3, 4 result was 4. You could bid 1 spade, and then your plan would be bid 2 hearts. Okay, and even if they bid again, you could bid 3 hearts because your 2, 3, 4 result was 4. Okay, so as long as it's the 2, 3, your strength of your hand gives you the capability of using that 2nd suit, showing the 2nd suit. You want to take the overcall approach and bid the highest ranking suit first. Now, if it's a weak or a medium hand, it raises a whole new challenge. Okay, what we're going to use to begin with, I'm going to start with we're going to start with the negative double. Okay, and in this case, we're going to take this example of 1 club and then 1 diamond. And what does the negative double mean? It says you've got 4 to 5 cards in each one of the higher ranking unbid suits. That's hearts and spades in this particular situation. And that the 2, 3, 4 result is greater than or equal to 1. Why 1? Well, because they can bid 1 heart or 1 spade. That's the key. You're only forcing the advancer to be bid at the 1 level. Okay, but you can see here, if you had an extremely weak hand with 5, 5 in the majors, and your 2, 3, 4 result was only 1, then you could use the negative double to tell your partner that you've got at least 4 in each one of those suits. He's going to assume 4 in each one of those suits. And then if the advancer bids, you know that they've got a nice bid for you in one of those 2 suits and probably at least 8+ points. All right, now let's take a look at the situation where the 2, 3, 4 result, where you're 4, 4. Okay, now I put this notation up here of 4 to 5 and 4 to 5. What that really is 4 in this suit, 4 in this suit, 5, 4, 5 in this suit, 4 in this suit. It covers all combinations of 4 and 5. In this one, if your result is greater than or equal to 2, and we'll see why in a minute. Okay, and you're 4, 4, you're going to use the negative double. But if your result is okay, now if our result is greater than or equal to 2, what we're going to want to use is a Cappelletti Cue Bid if we're 5-4. So if you're 5-4 and the 2-3-4 result is only 1, you can only use the negative double. If your 2-3-4 result is greater than equal to 2, and you're 5-4 in the unbid suit, you can use Cappelletti Cue Bids. Okay, because the 2-3-4 says you're strong enough to show to make that bid, and that the advantage there is that you're actually showing the real shape of your hand, also giving your partner more information about the strength of your hand. Okay, and that's also true of the higher level Cappelletti Cue Bid. Okay, and you have to evaluate these to determine what level you would be forcing your partner to bid to if they wanted to choose the higher ranking suit. Okay, now let's take a look at the situation where you have 5-5 in the 2 unbid suits, or 5+5+ in the 2 unbid suits. If the 2-3-4 result is exactly 2, okay, then you want to use the sandwich no trump. What sandwich no trump says is you got 5-5 in the 2 unbid suits, like an usual no trump, but it's weaker. Okay. And we use one no trump. It's an alertable bid in this situation because it makes absolutely no sense to use one no trump in a normal fashion after the opponents have bid 2 suits. Because, you know, even if you've got 15 to 17 points, if they've got 20, you don't want to be in one no trump because your partner could be totally broken and you could go down in flames. All right, now if you're 5-5 and your result is 2-3-4 result is greater than or equal to 3, now you can actually bid the 2 no trump, and the unusual no trump says you're 5-5, and it would guarantee in this situation 5-5 and 2 unbid suits. Okay, and being strong enough to actually force your partner to bid at the 3 levels of 2-3-4 has to be greater than or equal to 3. And because we're using unusual no trump, because one of the variants is it shows 5-5 in the 2 lowest unbid suits. Since they've already bid 2 suits and there's only two left, we got to the 2 unbid suits, regardless whether the lowest or the highest, have still got to have 5-5. Okay, so this is the scheme. It'll take you a while to you may want to diagram this to see how these all relate together, because if you use them correctly together, it gives you the capability of exactly describing the shape of your hand and your strength. All right, let's look at some examples here. In this first example, okay, we're vulnerable, we're not vulnerable. That's unfavorable vulnerability. Okay, we're going to calculate the 2-3-4. Well, how many losers we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 losers. Okay, so we calculate the 2-3-4 in this way by taking 7 minus the number of losers plus the V factor. With unfavorable vulnerability, it's 2. The result of that is 0. Okay, what's that mean? Even though we've got 4 hearts and 4 spades, it kind of looks sort of nice. Okay, we're too weak. We're too weak to make a negative double in this situation, where we're vulnerable and they're not vulnerable. We're just exposes us to too much risk. Okay, because let's say that we do that and our partner bids 2 spades, they double, we go down 1, they get 200 points, we get a low board. Okay, so that takes vulnerability and resultant scores into consideration to determine whether you're strong enough to make a particular bid. Let's look at the next example here. Okay, it's basically the same hand. We could have gotten rid of that king, but we're changing the vulnerability to not vulnerable versus not vulnerable. So we're doing this just to show you the difference in the calculation. The B factor now with equal vulnerability is 3. So we got 1, 2, we've got 8 losers in this hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 in spades, 2 in hearts, 3 in diamonds, and 2 in clubs. Can we calculate this out? And the result is 2. Okay. Okay, and why did it go up 2? Well, because the V factor changed from 2 to 3. That gave us 1, and we've got this king. We only count losers that are not ace, kings, or queens, and we never count more than 3 losers in one suit. So we've got the 4-4. Hey, that's cool. So do we want to jump into this auction? You betcha we do. What we want to do is we want to make a negative, we want to make a negative double here. And we can do that because in order to make that double, we only have to have a 2, 3, 4 result that's greater than equal to 1. If we double here, and we're going to assume, let's say that the opponent, the opener comes back and bids 2 clubs and your partner bids 2 spades or 2 hearts, you're going to be elated because you know you've got a fit. He or she probably has 8+ points. And you really, and the points between the two pairs is probably split pretty evenly. And because you've got control of the higher ranking major suits, you've got pretty good odds that you're going to be able to buy that contract at the 2 level and potentially make the contract, okay? Because you're only not vulnerable, okay? Even if you go down 1, it's only 50 points. Now, if they could make 2 clubs or 2 diamonds, that's going to be 90 points, so you get a better score. All right, let's look at this next one. Here we've got vulnerable versus vulnerable, okay? Equal vulnerability. So the B factor is going to be 3. Now, here we're 5-5 in the majors. All right, now let's take a look at the 2, 3, 4 result. We've got really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 losers. We calculate this out with equal vulnerability. It says we've got a 2, 3, 4 result of 1. We look at this hand versus the first one and say, I really like the first hand better. Well, from a 2, 3, 4 standpoint, given the vulnerability, situational, the third hand is better than the first hand. It says that we're actually strong enough to bid the negative double. Okay, but we're not strong enough to bid a sandwich no trump, because a sandwich no trump would force our partner, the advancer, to bid at the 2 level. We're only strong enough to force our partner to bid at the 1 level. We're at 5-5, so we want to tell our partner about this. So we want to bid. So what we're going to do is going to do a negative double here. And like I said, 2, 3, 4 result is 1, but we're too weak for a sandwich no trump. And you go, this is nuts. You're having me bid with 0 points. Yes, I am, because if you can accidentally find a fit with your partner, given the vulnerability, you may be able to buy the auction or force the opponents into the situation where they're bidding too high. Now, you just don't want to sit back and let them walk all over you. All right, let's look at example number 4. Here we're a little bit stronger. Okay, we're 5-5 again. Okay, we calculate the 2, 3, 4 result, and we come out with 2. We're still 5-5, just like the last hand. However, because the result is 2, we're strong enough to use the sandwich no trump. So we're going to bid 1 no trump. Now, what does this allow us to do? It allows us to clearly communicate to our partner that we've got 5 spades and 5 hearts. So, and that we can safely force them to bid to the 2 level, being stronger. So the sandwich no trump is actually a stronger bid than the negative double. And this allows the advancer to analyze the auction and reverse engineer the 2, 3, 4 computation and determine what he or she should bid. We'll talk about that on the last slide in this lesson. Let's look at example number 5. Oh, good, we're 5-5 again. And in this case, we've got favorable vulnerability, not vulnerable versus vulnerable. We calculate 2, 3, 4 because of the difference in vulnerability. Our result is 3. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to use unusual no trump. Okay, and what this does is allow us to again say we're 5-5 in the majors, and we're strong enough given the vulnerability to force our partner to bid at the 3 level. When this all sinks in terms of what 2, 3, 4 allows you to do, you're going to find that you really like it. In the last example here, we're 5-5 again. Remember, we're trying to show shape, okay, and points. So we're not vulnerable versus vulnerable. Again, we've got favorable vulnerability, so the result is 4. Okay, now that says that we can, given the vulnerability, we can safely bid to the 4 level. Okay, we're not going to do that initially, but it says it gives us the potential for evaluating what we can do in the rest of the auction. So since we can go to the 4 level, it says, well, we can bid a spade here. And then even if they bid 2 clubs or 2 dimes, we're strong enough to bid 2 hearts, okay? Because that gives us room to show our second suit. Now, also, because it's at 4, that also indicates that we're strong enough to use the approach of actually using an overcall, bidding 1 spade, then 2 hearts. And if we want to persist and compete in the auction, even to go to 3 hearts, which I would do in the blink of an eye with this hand. Okay, because now the opponents have to make the decision, knowing that it's a distributional hand, of whether they're going to go to 4 in a minor or try to squeeze out 3 no trump or something else. But that's a very good hand to compete with. All right, now let's look at example number 7 here. Okay, we've shifted here now. We've got 5 diamonds and 4 spades. Okay, so let's evaluate the 2, 3, 4. We've got equal vulnerabilities, so the B factor is equal to 3. So we got 7 minus 8 plus 3 is equal to 2. So we're able to force our partner to bid to 2 levels. So let's see what happens here. We've got 4 spades and 5 diamonds, correct? Now, if we bid 2 clubs, that would say we have 5 diamonds and 4 spades. Okay, our partner would be able to show their suits, pick the suits that we're indicating by bidding 2 diamonds or 2 spades. Since 2 diamonds and 2 spades is at the 2, 3, 4 level that we can bid, that we're allowed to bid to, force our partner to bid to, we can go ahead and use the Cappelletti Cue Bid and bid 2 clubs. Note, Cue Bids are not alertable. Okay? But what you're communicating specifically to your partner is that you've got 5 diamonds, 4 spades, and a 2, 3, 4 result that's greater than or equal to 2. Okay? All right, let's look at example number 8. In this example, we've got a different combination of suits. And they had bid 2 suits, 1 club, 1 spade. But we do have 5 hearts in the higher ranking suit, 4 diamonds in the lower ranking suit. So let's see what the 2, 3, 4 result is. The 2, 3, 4 result comes out to 2. Okay, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losers. We've got the B factor equal to 3 because of equal vulnerability. So the result is 2. So if we bid 2 spades as a high-level Cappelletti Cue Bid, our partner would have to bid 3 diamonds or 3 hearts. Now, since the 2, 3, 4 result is 2, 3 is higher than 2. So what it is, we're not strong enough. We're not strong enough to use the Cappelletti Cue Bid. And by the way, we're also not strong enough to overcall 2 hearts, because a normal overcall at the 2 level shows 10 plus points. And the 10 plus points. Now, I like to use points in determining an overcall rather than 2, 3, 4. Okay, or a combination of both. Okay, since I've got it, it says I'm strong enough to overcall at 2 hearts. However, because I don't have the 10 plus points in terms of trick taking potential in terms of aces and kings, I won't bid. I won't overcall 2 hearts with this. I want to have some quality in that suit. Okay, let's look at example number 9. This is the last one for this class of hands. Okay, we're not vulnerable versus vulnerable, so we've got favorable vulnerability. Now, we've got 7 minus 8 plus 4 is equal to 3. All right. Now, this is if we look at this, is exactly the same hand as number 8. Okay. However, because the 2, 3, 4 result evaluates out to the 3, we are high enough to use the high level Cappelletti Cue Bid and bid 2 spades. So that's what we're going to do. Our partner, if the opener doesn't bid again, can bid 3 diamonds or 3 hearts, picking the suit that he or she likes best. All right, let's look at the second class of hands. Now, the second class of hands is when the opponents have both opponents bid, but they've only bid one suit. And that's because they've either raised or they bid one no trump. Now, the overcalls are exactly the same as we previously discussed it. In the sense, it's true of the higher rank of what we call the strong two-suited hand. Okay, what we're going to use here is a different set of conventions and bids to actually show weak and medium hands. Okay, instead of using a negative double, what we're going to use is a responsive double. And I don't know why they gave it a different name, but at least it's a different name so we can chunk it in a different portion of our brain. Okay, and in the responsive double, what we're saying is that because we're going to be forcing our partner to bid to at least the 2 level. Okay, in clubs and diamonds, if it was 1 club, 2 clubs, yeah, we could double, and then our partner would be bidding into 2 level. Now remember, if it's a minor, it implies that the overcaller has both majors. If it's a major, it implies that the overcaller has both minors. So in the case of a minor, implying that the overcaller has both majors, they could make the double and they're forcing their partner to bid to the 2 level. Okay, so if the bidding was 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, they could double and their partner could bid 2 hearts or 2 spades. So the 2, 3, 4 result needs to be greater than equal to 2. Okay, now if you're 5-5, we're only going to do this if we've got if the result is exactly 2. If it's higher, let's say 3 or 4, we're going to use another convention a little bit later in the sequence. Okay, now spades, got a little bit different situation. We've got to evaluate this in terms of one of a major and then 1 no trump. We can use the responsive double, and our partner can bid clubs or diamonds. So we've got to be able to bid 2 clubs or 2 diamonds. So the 2, 3, 4 result needs to be greater or equal to 2. Now, if we're 5-5 in the minors, again, it's going to be exactly if it's 2. If the 2, 3, 4 result is equal to 2, that's because we're going to be able to use unusual no trump a little bit later. Now, in terms of when the opponents bid and raise, now we have to evaluate it in terms of what level would be required for our partner to pick either of the suit. And generally, that's at the 3+ level. Okay, now, if we want, if we have the 2 highest unbid suits, we're going to use the Michael's Q bid. Okay, and 5 + 5, it's greater or equal to the level to bid either suit. So let's just take an example of that. So if it was 1 club, 2, 1 club, the 2 clubs, you could bid 3 clubs, indicating that you're 5-5 in the majors, and your 2, 3, 4 result is greater than equal to 3. Now, also you can use 2 no trump to show the 2 lowest. So I'll add 2 highest in here to and update the handout. So let's go see how this works, going through some examples. In the first one here, we've got 1 club, 2 clubs. All right, they bid 1 suit. Okay, you've got both majors here. You've got hearts, you've got spades. We've got favorable vulnerability in this case. So our 2, 3, 4, we evaluate that, it comes out to 2. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 3, 6, 8, 9 losers. So we've got a V factor of 4 is equal to 2. So if we double, we're implying that we have 4 hearts and 4 spades. Could have more hearts and 4+ hearts and 4+ spades. Okay, and that our 2, 3, 4 result is at least 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make that responsive double. We're going to see if we can get in the mix and find a place where we've got a fit to compete against these rotten opponents. Okay, let's look at example number 2. Here we have unfavorable vulnerability. Okay, All right, and we've got one club, one no trump. Now we kind of like that no trump because we have these 5 spades, but at the same time, as they've got control of the other suits, they might be able to easily make one no trump. So let's evaluate the 2, 3, 4. We've got 7 losers. Unfavorable vulnerability. So the result is equal to 2. Okay, now, so we can actually force our partner, the advancer, to bid to the 2 level. Okay, we got 5 spades and 4 hearts. Okay, the Cappelletti Cue Bid is not used in this sequence. It's only used when 2 suits have been bid. So what bids do we have available for us? Okay, well, because of the sequence, we could actually double, implying we have at least 4, 4 in each one of the majors. Okay, we're not strong enough in this particular situation to bid the spades and then the hearts, because we have to bid 2 spades and then 3 hearts. I'll fix that. Okay, and our 2, 3, 4 value result is 2. So we're not strong enough to plan to bid to the 3 level. So we're going to use responsive double here with 5 spades and 4 hearts. Let's look at this one where we have 5 hearts and 4 spades. We've got equal vulnerability. 2, 3, 4 comes out to 3. Okay, so we're actually strong enough to go to the 3 level. Okay, now we've got 4 spades and 5 hearts. We're not going to use the overcall, because if we overcalled 2 hearts and then had to bid 3 spades, our partner would be forced to go to the 4 level to show a preference for the hearts. And we can only force our partner to bid to the 3 level. So we have to look ahead as to what the bidding options are going to be. So we're going to make a responsive double. Now, let's just take a look at this for a second. If the advancer has a 4+ card suits and wants to get into the auction, they're going to bid that suit. Now, let's assume they've got enough points and got three spades and 3 hearts. Okay, if they've got 3 spades and 3 hearts, they're always going to bid hearts, regardless of the quality of the hearts compared to the spades, because that by bidding 2 hearts in this particular situation, if we get in trouble and we have to find some place to run to, we can always bid 2 spades. So it's kind of a common practice in bridge. If the length of your partner's suits are unknown, you're assuming they're 4, 4 in this particular case, and you're 3, 3, always bid the lower ranking suit. That gives you some place to run in the future. All right, let's look at example number 4. In this one, we're 5, 5. Okay, getting better, more shapely hands. Okay, the 2, 3, 4 result, because we've got equal vulnerability, is 2. It says we can bid to force our partner to bid to the 2 level. Okay, now we're going to again use the responsive double, even though we're 5, 5, because we're not strong enough to bid Michaels. If we bid 3 diamonds, that would say we're 5, 5 and can force the advancer to bid to the 3 level. Okay, we're not strong enough for that. So we step back and we use the responsive double. Let's look at this hand here. Okay, in this one, we've got 4, 8, 11 high card points. We've got a nice shaped hand. Okay, we're 5, 5. Are we going to use Michaels in this particular hand? No, because we're strong enough to actually show the hand. The second suit, we're going to bid overcall 2 spades and then bid 3 hearts. And if we feel a little bit frisky, if they go to the 4 level, we may bid 4 hearts, especially given favorable vulnerability. Okay, who knows? We might have a great chance of actually making 4 hearts with this hand if our partner has just the right cards. Okay, let's look at example number 6. Now we've got 5, 5 in the minors, and the opponent's open 1 heart, 2 hearts, and our 2, 3, 4 comes out and says evaluates the 4. So that's pretty good. It says that we can force our partner to bid to the 4 level. Okay, and we have the minors. What we're actually going to do here is we're going to use unusual no trump. Okay, what this allows us to do is tell our partner that we're 5, 5 in the minors at the 2 level. Okay, if we needed to bid these two suits, we'd bid three diamonds, and then we have to bid four clubs, pushing it up a whole nother level. And even then, our partner would be convinced we had five. But by using two no trump and rigorously obeying, making sure we've got 5-5, by being two no trump, we're telling our partner that we've got five clubs and five diamonds, and we're strong enough to make our partner bid at the three level. Let's look at the last three examples here. In this one, we're only 4-4-4-1. Different. Okay, we've got one club, one diamond. We do have 4-4 in the majors. Now let's evaluate 2-3-4. The result is 2. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Well, even though we're 4-4-4-1, we've got the hand from a 2-3-4 perspective is strong enough. We do have 4-4 in the majors. They bid a minor. We're going to use the responsive double again. You can see how versatile these conventions, where they're all interlinked together, become in terms of describing the shape of your hand and the strength of your hand. Now let's look at this one here. They bid one spade and then two spades. We've got 5 hearts and 5 diamonds. Let's look at 2-3-4. We've got 7 minus 6 losers. De facto, we're vulnerable. And that's says we could actually bid to the 3 level or force our partner, the advancer, to bid to the 3 level. Now, let's see. We've got 5 hearts and 5 diamonds. Now, do we have a bid available that allows us to show this shape and this strength? Well, we're too weak for Michael's, because if we bid 3 spades, that would be forcing us to 4 level. Okay, can't do that. We only force our partner to the 3 level. Okay. Can we use an unusual no trump? Well, no, if we use bid 2 no trump, it would say we have clubs and diamonds, and then we don't have clubs and diamonds. Okay. And are we strong enough to actually overcall and then show the second suit by bidding 3 diamonds and 4 diamonds? 3 hearts, then 4 diamonds? Nope. 2-3-4 says we're not strong enough to do that either. Okay. This is one of those hands where we just don't have coverage. We can't cover everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass and we'll live to fight another day. We're going to hope the opponent screwed his hand up. Or maybe our partner will do something interesting. Okay, we'll look at the last example here. Okay, now we've got 5-5 again in the minors. And we've got equal vulnerability. 2-3-4 is equal to 3. Okay, we've got 5 clubs and 5 diamonds. Okay. What we're going to use is unusual no trump again, okay? And then partner can bid 3 clubs or 3 diamonds. Okay, now, just as kind of a quiz, if our partner has 3 clubs and 3 diamonds, what is our partner going to bid? They're going to bid 3 clubs, not 3 diamonds. Even if they've got the 2-3-4 of clubs and the ace, king, queen of diamonds, they're going to bid 3 clubs. This gives you the capability of somewhere to run if things get sticky. Okay, you get a penalty double, you know you're in trouble because of whatever the situation, you can always run to 3 diamonds. All right, so that's just kind of a general aspect of what the advancer is going to be. Now, let's just take a minute to back up and look at 2-3-4 in terms of how the advancer is going to use the information from the bid. Okay, and the advancer is going to determine the shape of the overcaller's hand based upon the bid. The shape. Notice I said shape. Okay, so if they used an unusual sandwich no trump, the advancer is going to say my partner's 5-5. Okay, now what the advancer is also going to do is use 2-3-4 to reverse engineer the bid to determine how many tricks the caller is promising based on vulnerability. Now that's a mouthful. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here. We've got a not vulnerable versus vulnerable. So we know the B factor is equal to 4, and the bidding has been 1 diamond pass, 2 diamonds, and our partner chimes in and bids 2 no trump as an unusual no trump, showing 5+ clubs and 5+ hearts. So from bid, we know our partner's got at least 5 clubs and 5 hearts. Now, if we reverse engineer the 2 no trump bid, we can know that the overcaller made this calculations. Got 7 minus the number of losers plus 4. That's the V factor because of favorable vulnerability, and that needed to be greater than or equal to 3 to force us to bid at the 3 level. Okay, so what we're going to do is reverse that and say calculate the number of losers that the opener, that the overcaller has. So we're going to take 7 plus 4 minus 3. It says 8 losers. Okay, we're going to then convert that to winners. It says our partner's probably got 5 winners. Okay, if we bid 3 clubs or 3 diamonds, if we bid 3 clubs or 3 hearts, okay, we're going to have to take 8 tricks. So that he's got 5 winners, that could potentially be down 3. If we're double, that could be, even though they're vulnerable and we're not, that would be 500 points. Now that would be a really lousy score if they can't make game. All right, so how are we going to use that? Okay, the advance is going to use this information to determine whether he or she should pass or compete. All right, let's look at this first hand here, where the opponents now bid 3 diamonds. Okay, now, if the opponent hadn't bid, we would have had to go ahead and bid. We would have bid 3 hearts. Now the question is, since the opponent continued to compete, should we bid 3 hearts? Okay, this is really a crappy looking hand at first glance, but we know our partner has 5 hearts. We've got 4, so we've got a 9-card bid. All right, now what else do we know? We're short in clubs. And the overcaller is going to be short in diamonds because they've got 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, and it's coming back. The overcaller probably doesn't have any diamonds, and at most has got 1. So we've got a great cross-rub potential here. Okay, so what the advancer is looking at is the potential of providing 3 to 4 tricks. Now, if you take that 3 to 4 tricks and subtract it and add it to the 5 winners, it says we've probably got 8 or 9 tricks. So there's really a great chance of 1, making the contract. And if we bid 3 hearts and they pass it out, potentially only going down 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a sacrifice bid here of 3 hearts, expecting to go down 1, maybe 2, not vulnerable, okay, and expect a good score, but hoping that probably 30 or 40% of the time when we've got this shape of hand opposite our partner, we're going to make that contract. Okay, so we want to compete given the analysis and the information that we've been able to derive. Now let's look at another hand here, same auction. Okay, and this one, the advancer is actually stronger. He's got the ace of hearts, got the king of clubs. Okay, but he's got a flat hand. We still have the 9 hearts. We don't have shortness. Okay, we probably still think that the opener, the overcaller, has shortness in diamonds, but we don't have shortness. So we're probably only going to be able to deliver best probably 2 tricks from this hand. Okay, 2. Now remember, there were 8 losers. Minus 2 says 6 losers. So if we bid to the 2 level, to the 3 level here, okay, if the opponent's double, we could be potentially be down for minus 300. Okay, that's not real good, especially since you've got some elements of the defensive hand here. So if you bid 3 hearts, unless the opponents make a mistake and go to 4 diamonds and don't make it, you're actually going to create a negative score for yourself. So what we're going to do, because we don't have the ability to deliver tricks, okay, we're delivering tricks over here because of the void in clubs, okay, and the known shortness of our partner in diamonds, versus this hand where we actually have 2 high card tricks. We're going to pass because we're too weak to sacrifice. So it's really an important concept. It's going to take some time for you to actually adopt and work this out, because doing the reverse engineering is a non-trivial task and it takes some thought. All right, that concludes the lesson for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or send me an email.